Hello, welcome to another episode of Forgotten Cemeteries, Pacific Northwest. Today we're at IOOF Grass Valley Cemetery, located in Grass Valley, Oregon, Sherman County. Alternative names, just one, Grass Valley Lodge 131. So let's go meet some local residents and hear their story. History of this cemetery: it started up in 1887 with 406 known burials and 35 unmarked ones per the Oregon Burial Site Guide. For being such a large cemetery, however, find a grave profile is a bit weird. I think I only saw like 7 memorials on there, so that was a little odd. As far as Grass Valley, it gets its name from the early settlers who were quoted as saying, "Grass so tall, it stood over a man's head, even when he was on a horse." There you go. Apparently, Oregon arrivals came through this area, but said no thanks back then, only using the area as a resting place to move more west. However, a shortcut to the Barlow Trail, which passed through Grass Valley, can be found in this area. Hence, the area got slowly, and I mean slowly, settled by ranchers. The official establishment date I found for Grass Valley was 1878. A website describes a doctor named Charles Rollins from New Hampshire who named the town. But my Oregon Geographic Name book goes on to say in 1901 there was a vote and the name Grass Valley was an easy win. At one time, Rollins put up a hotel and clinic in this area, but those are long gone, unfortunately. Grass Valley, however, is home to the Oregon Raceway Park, and I think I saw like a petrified wood store if you're into that downtown. There's not a lot down there, but you can go to that. Today we'll learn about the Civil War veterans that reside here, Oregon Trail sorrows, a guy that got peed on during the Revolutionary War. That should be interesting. And learn about farm equipment. Highly exciting, I know. And our first stop will be James D. Boatman, born in 1843 and a Civil War veteran. I could only find 2 James Boatmans on the Civil War roster. I'm leaning towards James joining the 14th Kansas Cavalry Regiment. They saw quite a bit of action during the famous Lawrence Massacre, a Confederate guerrilla crew that led to the killing of unarmed men and boys in 1863. So one of the few pioneer stories I could find here was of Caleb Curl. He is an 1847 arrival in Oregon. I read that the party he traveled with included the Applegates, one of the more famous Oregon immigrant families. I also read that one of his ancestors were settlers of the New World, spent most of his time in southern Oregon, had some time in Polk County, but eventually came to Grass Valley in 1884, was involved with the timber business, and served in the Indian Wars that broke out in Oregon during the mid-1800s. And right by Caleb's headstone is his wife, Margaret Curl, who has quite a bit of history. She did arrive the same year as Caleb, 1847. Her family has a lot of colonial history that was very interesting, I'll share with you. Appears her father was a judge, and one of her great-grandparents served in the Revolutionary War, Abraham Fulkerson, in the Virginia military. He fought in the Battle of Kings Mountain, which was a sort of a surprising victory for the Patriots, since British General Cornwallis was sort of slapping them around during this time. The victory is key because it raised Patriots' self-esteem, and they managed to take out Scottish officer Patrick Ferguson, allowing the end of the Loyalists. Patrick Ferguson was shot from his horse, and it dragged him into Patriot lines. A Patriot soldier did approach him and said, "Hey man, you want to surrender?" But Ferguson pulls out his pistol and shoots the dude. It is said that Ferguson was later found with 8 musket holes in him, and appears the Patriots then urinated on him. Benjamin Cleveland, a Patriot officer, claimed Ferguson's white stallion as a war prize and rode it all the way home to his estate. Back to Margaret, her trip was a struggle. Her mother died along the Oregon Trail from mountain fever. She's buried somewhere out there along the sand hills of Oregon Trail, most likely in an unmarked grave. Then her brother, Frederick Richard Fulkerson, dies along the trail. He actually has a marker with a plaque. Appears he died from being so cold after trying to swim across a river. Then her sister's husband died along the Oregon Trail, and then her uncle. So quite a bit of sorrow along her path. And here's the headstone of Hardin Green Duger, which looks kind of new. Born in 1840 in Tennessee, as you can see, he served in the 1st Tennessee Infantry, Company K, a regiment that was part of the Union Army of Ohio. Hardin was also a prisoner of war, serving time in the famous Libby Prison, a place legendary for its overcrowding and extremely poor conditions. Very high mortality rate due to poor nutrition and the fact that prisoners were exposed to the weather elements. Just barred windows, apparently, with a lot of airflow, so imagine that in the winter. He would survive that experience, luckily, in a prisoner exchange, then took part in Sherman's march to sea. Sad ending, appears in 1927 at the age of 87. A write-up mentions he died of steam engine burns that were inflicted. Not a whole lot of information on Hubert Ursuline, besides the inscription on his headstone that reads, "Killed accidentally by an explosion near Young's." Young's was a ranch back then near railroad tracks. It was something along the lines of the Deschutes River Railroad construction time. Guessing some blast work was going on and maybe he got caught in the crossfire. One of our rare Italian grave markers as well in our journeys. What's lacking is that there was apparently a second Italian that met his fate during that blast, but I couldn't find that individual's name. However, there were many accidents during the railroad construction. There's actually a second individual in this cemetery who met their end due to the railroad, a Croatian man. And our final stop is of Alfred Clemens, born in England in 1817. First landed in Colorado and unsure when he came to Oregon, but was pretty successful as he owned a jewelry store and farmed in the area. In fact, he owned the last steam thresher in the county. What exactly is a thresher? I know you're super excited to learn. Basically, it's a farm machine that separates wheat and seed crops from their straw. At one time, steam was used to operate this mechanically. Time for the tour. Fun part. It's quite a bit of cemeteries along Route 97 if you ever take it. Just little quick stops for the most part. You have to be careful though, because a lot of them have private property labels and it's not quite clear. You really have to do your research. So that was a little annoying with the one cemetery I found, which is down the road. It had so much history, but clearly not allowed to go on to the property. Oh, check that out. Stewart Ironworks, Cincinnati, Ohio. I wonder how old that is. A couple gated communities at this cemetery. This looks like a mini Woodsman of the World marker. I don't think I've ever seen one that small. Obviously a child. A couple Civil War markers here. This looks like 150 Illinois infantry. I think a lot of the Civil War markers seem new, and looks like somebody just made some nice ones and put them down. That's Grassy Valley up ahead. Miles of nothing. If you come out, definitely do that little thing where you program your route on Google Maps. I didn't even know you could do that till like a week ago. You could like plot your map and save it to your phone so it automatically uploads. That way you don't have to depend on any GPS signal. Here's Hubert's headstone with the unique writing on it. Here's the weeping willow tree. Only 27. We'll head across the little road. Real cool. If you could see it up ahead, you got a nice view of the mountain when you pull in. Again, I suck at that. Mount Hood, I don't know. Let's go with that. I think we've seen that before. I think we saw that at Bethel Cemetery. BPOE. I don't know what that is. That's new to me. I'll look that up later. There's friendship, love, and truth. Quite a bit of artistry on this headstone. In society, and little cool little marks. Speaking of that, that's really pretty. Gates of Heaven. That's a silver vet too. There's Curl's plot, fancy gate. Hope you enjoyed the story, the revolutionary story of the guy riding into Patriots lines and then getting peed on. I guess he should have surrendered, huh? It's another little mini Woodsman of the World marker. I'm assuming that's what it is. Usually you see that tree stump. Where should we go? Let's go this way. Oh, this. Haven't seen that marking ever. Very unique. I don't know what it stands for. The overall really well taken care of cemetery. Some headstones that kind of pushed over. Don't know if that's vandalism again or what have you. A really nice one. If you're a photographer, this would be an excellent one for you. Coming early in the morning, maybe catch the mountains and the sunrise, and nobody's here at those times. So that's another benefit. Just you and the dead people. Anywho, that's the end of the tour. Just wanted to show you this cool gate over here and a view of the mountain. way out in the background. I hope you can see it. Don't know what that one's called, sorry. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any recommendations for cemeteries to visit in Oregon, feel free to pipe up below. Have a good one, and the sun is out. Oh my god, summer's getting closer. Thanks for watching.